How's it, everyone? Back in the rainforest. I'm Jacques. This is Dapper Shaves. We're going to do another straight razor shave. Before we get into the details of the equipment we're going to use, first of all there's some individuals I'd like to thank in particular that's been great supporters of this channel. So Felix, I know you somewhere in Brazil. Mark, I think he's somewhere in the UK. Jeff, I think you're in the States, but it really doesn't matter where you guys are located. Also Darishan, Ian, Lazarus, Marcin, and I think I've covered most of the main contributors on this channel. Moreover, I also want to thank those of you that is actually watching this content. If you subscribe, that's fine. If you don't, not a problem. Also liking and commenting, it's really up to you. This is the educational channel, so we do educational stuff here, so I encourage you to please ask questions, and then I can see if we can in some shape or form facilitate that. So one of the pieces of gear I use is Loom as an antiperspirant. I also use it on my face after some shaves, but primarily this is an antiperspirant for me, and it works really well. Those of you that haven't tried it must surely give it a go. It's a whole lot better for your skin and also in the environment and aerosols and all the other stuff that goes with it. Any case, a different soap this time. I've had it for some time, had a couple of shaves with it. It's fantastic soap. We'll have a look at that, how it lathers up. The Gentleman's Nod in conjunction with these, with a fragrance house, I believe, and they produced a really complex, lovely scent. We're going to use that soap. I'm going to use a Which-Hazel Splash. I enjoy this one. We'll talk about some Which-Hazel Splashes, and then I might use a cream depending on how my shave goes, and I'm definitely going to use some eye gel sponsored by AS Beauty. I really appreciate the support on this channel. And then something everybody should have in their den is a proper cloth. This one is Lancaster Works wool cloth. I go nowhere without it. I hope I didn't make mistakes leaving somebody out. If I did, I'm quite sure you guys will understand. So, name me 3 of the oldest straight razor manufacturers in the world. Henkel's is one. They've been around since the 1500s. They ceased production on razors, I think, in the 70s or 80s. Another is Thiers, which is what we're going to talk about today. Thiers. They've been around since 1582, and Joseph Rogers is the other one. They've also been around for very long, but they've also ceased to make razors. So to my knowledge, Thiers is the oldest company still making razors. So let's start lathering, and then I can get into the history of the razors, and we're going to show and tell them. This is a 5/8. It's been in for honing, so I'm doing a test shave with that to see how that goes, and if that fails, I'm going to use my own Thiers I've got here as a backup, and we'll have a look and talk about that one. I load from the puck, as you guys know. I'll link a video up here to appropriate time point where I've got a detailed lathering demonstration. So if you want to get a bit more detail about lathering, you can find it there. I essentially load with a damp brush and then add water as I go along. Thiers. as I say, been around since 1582. And if you go and look at the guild registers, you will see there's actually a couple of Thiers members listed as master razor makers. So these razors, as you would know, and let me show you, let's use a bigger example, says Thiers Issard, and not just Thiers. So we're going to get a bit into the history and the detail around Thiers Issard and where that comes from. So in 1892, a gentleman by the name of Pierre Thiers is born into this family that has been making cutlery and stuff for more than 200 years. And he works obviously in the factory from an early age, and by the age of 10 he was already hammering out and actively involved in the forge making razors. Description of him is he was actually quite a short gentleman but incredibly powerful. As I say, he's been hammering out razors from the age of 10, so he had massive forearms and a huge chest and stocky legs. He was really a powerful man. So there's always stories and stuff associated with myths, and you won't know which are true or not, but apparently he did in the excess of 10,000 hammer blows a day, forging out razors. So I believe he was also fully ambidextrous, so he was capable of switching hands, which I think significantly helped with that amount of workload. But in any case, so into a family with a huge history around razor making and manufacturing cutlery. And at a very young age, I can't remember what it was, in his 20s, he decided to do his own thing. And he was married to a lady by the name of Jean, and we'll talk about this razor. There's a Jean et Pierre on the edge here, and we'll talk about that quickly. So he married this lady by the name of Thiers Issard. And when he created his business, Thiers Issard, Thiers, he wanted to distinguish it from the rest of the people, and he uses his wife's maiden name, Issard, and that's when Thiers Issard was founded and formed. And as I say, they are still in use today. The soap is absolutely wonderful. It is a tallow-based soap. I'm going to start pushing the water content on this to see if I can increase the volume. But it is super sleek. The scent is very subtle and very pleasant. I'll open up my notes now when I get an opportunity, and then we can look at some other details around the company and some dates. I think I'm not going to fiddle too much with this. We've got lots of soap on here for a second pass. Very, very sleek. It's a lower density soap, but very, very good. Alright, the objective of my shave today is obviously have a good shave, enjoy it, but also to see if this edge is any good. And that's what we're going to do. Jacques, that's a strange way of holding a razor. Yes, it is. For those of you that want to do that opening stroke with a with a handle up there and you struggle to line it up, this is a very easy way. The weight is always going down with the scale. It really helps a lot and makes it quite nice. So for me, essentially, this is against the grain, and it's also done blind. I've got no mirror here. So Thiers Issard make their razors from carbon steel. And on these modern razors, and I believe historically as well, the steel they're using here is called C135. Carbon Song 135. So the 135 points to the carbon content in the steel. Typically carbon steels in the 80s, higher 80s, potentially the carbon content in the iron, where this is 1.35%. So it is a very hard steel. It's also very hard tempered. So it requires a lot more time on the stones. Historically, when these blades come out of a forge to be quenched, they were quenched in molten lead of 800 degrees Celsius. It's obviously not a practice I believe they can do today anymore because of the toxic gases that's produced by that process. So they're using other mechanisms. Same thing on the other side. A lot easier to line up because there's nothing in the way. And I've got a sneaky suspicion, yeah, I'm dripping all over with lather. So very nice, very sleek lather, well hydrated, can't complain. The other thing different from Thiers Issard razors is their grind. It is a type of a hollow grind, but you'll see the majority of the blades actually more like a Sheffield grind. It's very thin, even coming to a point. And when I clean everything up here, I'll show you on the larger razor what I mean by that. And so that produces a very stiff blade with little flex. Droopiness. Very good soap. Lathered quite well, tallow based. Residual sweetness is awesome. So when you hone these razors, my experience, and yours will differ, it takes at least 2 to 3 times the effort than a vintage Sheffield type carbon steel. Very hard. The advantage is that they will, if you maintain them properly and you've set the bevel correctly, it will hold the edge for a very, very, very long time. So initial thoughts on the edge went quite well. You guys are asking how was that honed. It was honed on a stone that comes out of the ground and it shaves quite smooth. Excellent. So we're going to perform a second pass. This is really a beautiful soap. I think they call it the cardinal base. I haven't even got my glasses on, but I think I saw it on here. A cardinal base. So if you're looking to try a different soap, you can get your hands on some of this from Gentleman's Knot. I've seen some other scents also. They've got quite a few, including a rose, I think, which a member said smells like it was, the scent was made by archangels or something like that. In any case, it's a really classy scent, very subtle. I've got a bit of soap in my mouth by accident. So it's got a high citric tallow type taste texture to it. For me. We're going to perform a fool's pass. The blade's essentially flat to the skin, and then you just need a little bit of lubrication on the inside of the blade, and you can perform very delicate, very close buffing strokes. Quite effortlessly. So I can't complain with the edge, it's mowing through here, so once I'm done here, this razor will get sterilized in a cleaning solution, and then it will get a ride in an ultrasonic, and when that comes out, I will perform exactly the same final finishing steps that I did to complete this razor. It will get strapped on a Kanayama 30K and then sent off to the customer without any oils. This customer also lives at the coast. And a lot of you will say, Jacques, why are you not putting oil on there? Well, first of all, it's not my razor, my decision. So it's up to the customer how he wants to do it. Jacques, what type of oils can you use? I always recommend sewing machine oil, zinger, clean mineral oil. You can use baby oil even though there's a bit of scent in there. I don't think that should have an impact on the steel, but it could possibly lead to water staining or something. I don't know, I'm guessing, never seen it, I don't use oils. Once again, flat blade buffing. It's been a very hot day and still is. So for you guys, a quick tip. I didn't show it now because I didn't want to spoil the soap, but on a very hot day I use a mentholated soap, a very strong one like Margaritas in the Arctic or the Frosted Lavender or one of those soaps as a pre-shave. You've seen how I make a little pre-shave, 2 or 3 drops water on the soap pack, rub it with your hands, put it on your skin, make yourself a little pre-shave, leave it on there, and then make your lather and continue. And when you rinse your face, it's a beautiful feel when it's so hot. So I just quickly want to do a little bit more buffing on my chin, and then I think I'm done here. That was 2 days, a bit more than 2 days worth of growth. So what's on the pipeline on this channel? Obviously there's going to be more ASMR shave videos, shave demonstrations. There's going to be more show and tell and history like we're doing here. Definitely more honing videos. Here we go. Happy with that. What I want to do quickly is I want to use the last bit of soap as a pre-shave. I don't use many products. So for me, the soap has also got to perform some moisturizing function and repairing that outer skin layer barrier that got a bit traumatized. If a soap is lacking in that, for me, I tend to stay clear of them. Because I want to get a soap that gives me the overall value. I don't want to have shortcomings in the soap and then go and find more product to go and cover it. I want to use as little product as possible. So as an example, in the shower, before I come out here, I wash my entire face. I've got a shave brush in there to clean my face. That exfoliates my skin, prepares it for what we're doing here, irrespective if I shave that day or not. So I don't need to go and have a specific cleaner or cleanser or exfoliating cream or something. So for those of you that haven't noticed, we are moving slowly into a recession, and we need to look more closer at our luxuries and what is really needed. So on that, let me leave this on a bit and talk quickly about Which-Hazel. Which-Hazel, generally from the time you have opened it until you should use it is, all depends on how it's made, but most likely anything between 18 months to 24 months. So I mark mine when I get them. If I don't know what the date is, this is the 2nd of 2022. Yes, I write like a crab. So this is February last year. If I don't know, I ask the manufacturer and then I mark it so that I ensure I use finish these things before they expire, because it's impossible to keep track of what you have. This razor took a bit of water and soap, so let me just quickly wipe that down. This is my backup Thiers Issard, my personal razor. Here we go. I'm not there if you guys can see that edge. Shoulderless design, jump thumb notch, bottom and top. Very elegant design. They call this a hook nose, Spanish point, whatever you want. Really a wonderful razor, olive wood scales. The only complaint I have with Thiers, and I wish they want to fix it, is these simple machine riveted little things they put in here. They are crappy, they look flimsy, and I think they could have done a whole lot better job. I actually replaced the back. It's also soft wood, but otherwise, look at this. If you just add a bit of moisture on this wood, let me quickly show you how beautiful that is. Olive wood. The grind I was talking about, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but it's not your traditional hollow. It's what I call that Sheffield grind. It's more flat, it's not hollowed, but it's thin and quite firm. So I like these. They are incredibly good shavers, but they can be a challenge on the stones. So the soap, I can feel my skin is very well nourished, and it's not complaining or arguing with the soap even after the shave. That's the other thing that I know, that it's a good soap, at least for me and my skin. So let's go and rinse this off. I have cleaned the brush. Okay. By the way, here's the brush. Commodore X3 Simpsons Badger 24mm, fantastic brush. There is a reason why this is the best-selling Simpsons brush in North America. For those of you that didn't know. Plenty of residual slickness left. It's soft velvet. Skin feels healthy.
and they look gorgeous.
Alright, so the razor I'm going to rinse first with cold water. I use my fingers in a stropping motion over the edge to make sure I get all the soap off. I wash the water in between the scales, and many of you are going to get a heart attack. But I've been doing this for years, never had issues. You know my routine. I rinse everything off, clean it, use a hair dryer, then go and strop, use a microfiber cloth and put it away. So I'm not going to repeat that now. I'm going to do that in a second because I want to wrap up on the shave. So this safely out the way. And then my post shave. So the first thing is this wonderful wool cloth, dry. I think I'm going to put on a cream in any case because I haven't shaved in 2 days and I've neglected my skin a bit, so give it a little bit of TLC and I'll let this sit for a moment and then I'll apply the Which-Hazel a little bit later. And then also the eye gel. Once again, thank you for AS Beauty for providing me with this wonderful products. There we go. This is what a 51-year-old face looks like, if you do the basics right. In any case, what else did we want to cover? I think that's it. I'm not going to do this immediately, but I put this on quite liberally because I also want to make sure I finish it as I approach the end date. And I'll do that in, let's say, 5 minutes time when this is nicely hydrated and absorbed into the skin, and then I'll put the Which-Hazel Splash over. It's a very nice toner as well. The soap, fantastic. Remember this one, if you can find it, it's quite good, and I believe it's also quite reasonably priced. This was gifted to me by somebody that knows and understands shave soaps very, very well, so I'm very grateful for that. You guys must have a kick-ass one. See you on the next video. Bye.